Petunia Dursley hates witches, but that doesn't mean she never wanted to become one of them. 1. A childhood in Lily's shadow. Petunia and Lily began like any normal pair of sisters in a peaceful muggle family. But everything changed the moment Lily's Hogwarts letter arrived. For Lily, it was an invitation into a magical world. For Petunia, it was a sentence declaring she would forever stand outside that door. Petunia didn't just lose time with her sister. She lost her position as the special one in the family. Her younger sister suddenly became the center of attention. The girl with magic, whom the headmaster of a wizard school cared about. This planted a seed of resentment. If Lily is special, then what am I? I'm just ordinary! Petunia's jealousy didn't stem from a hatred of magic itself, but from a deep longing to be like Lily. But since she couldn't change the truth, she chose to deny the value of what she couldn't have, thus forming prejudices against the wizarding world. The key insight here: jealousy isn't always because we hate the other person, but because we want to be like them. 2. The letter to Dumbledore. A confession no one knew. This is a detail few people notice. But it's the key to understanding Petunia's entire character. In Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, Harry hears Snape's memory. Petunia had once written to Dumbledore asking to be admitted to Hogwarts, right into the headmaster of a wizarding school. Something she always despised. Shows that Petunia was never immune to the allure of that world. This wasn't the action of someone who hates witches, but of a little girl who wanted to be part of the magic. But when the reply came with a no, because she had no magical ability, Petunia faced deep shame and disappointment. Rejected! Petunia fell into a psychological defense mechanism called rationalization. Magic isn't anything special. Wizards are all weird and dangerous. It's best to stay away. In reality, this was just a way to turn what she could untap into something she did unneed. A code of self-respect to hide the pain of being left behind. Petunia couldn't tell Lily the truth. I want to be like you. Instead, she built walls, turning the distance between them into an emotional barrier. From jealousy to alienation, then to contempt. When someone once wanted to stand on your side, but was forced to stand on the other, they'll try to believe the other side is the right place to be. 3. Marriage to Vernon. Cutting the bridge to magic when Petunia chose Vernon Dursley. It wasn't just about romance. This was a strategic psychological decision. She chose a man with an absolutely normal worldview. Almost obsessed with safety, stability, and not being different! Vernon didn't just dislike magic. He was extremely hostile to anything unusual. For Vernon, the world was divided into 2 types. Normal was acceptable. Unusual must be avoided. Petunia found in Vernon a perfect shield to block all memories and connections to the wizarding world. By binding herself to such a person, she reinforced her self-narrative. I don't need magic to live well. Ironically, despite trying to escape that world, Petunia was pulled back when she took in Harry. Lily's son, a child carrying magic within him. And here's the tragedy. Vernon saw Harry as a burden. Petunia saw Harry as an open wound. Every day, near him was a reminder that she had once wanted but could never become part of that world. Marriage to Vernon didn't free Petunia from her pain. It just sealed the door, trapping her in a room without light, while outside, she could still hear the laughter of the world she had abandoned. She chose safety over dreams, but that safety became her prison. 4. Why treat Harry so badly? When looking at how Petunia treated Harry, many people immediately label it as evil or heartless. But if we dig deeper, this wasn't just simple cruelty. It was a complex defense mechanism, rooted in feelings of abandonment and inadequacy deeply embedded since childhood. Every time Petunia looked at Harry, she didn't just see a child. She saw green eyes identical to Lily's. She saw the shadow of the magical world, where she was rejected. She saw herself standing on the sidelines, watching others be chosen. This made Harry a living memory of everything she had once yearned for, but could never reach, unable to change the past. Petunia chose to control the present, making Harry wear Dudley's oversized clothes, hiding Hogwarts letters, trying to eliminate every sign of unusualness in him. This was her way of erasing the wizarding world from her life, by crushing it, while it was still a budding seed. Petunia was cold and harsh to maintain emotional distance. If she allowed herself to love Harry, she would again find herself connected to the wizarding world. And then all the old pain would come flooding back. By being cruel, she protected her heart, even though it meant hurting an innocent child. She did not realize that this very harshness didn't heal the wound. It only passed that pain to another generation. Harry grew up emotionally starved, while Petunia lived in prolonged bitterness. 5. A moment of humanity. The warning about Voldemort Petunia. Dursley wasn't a character audiences expected warmth from, but in Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, there was a brief moment that tore through the cold mask she had worn for years. When she heard Harry say Voldemort had returned, Petunia didn't react like an outsider. She knew that name. She knew how dangerous he was, not just from rumors. She had heard Sirius and James Potter mention him, had seen Lily's fear, had felt the wave of terror in the wizarding world before. In that moment, she was no longer the muggle woman who hates witches, but a sister who had once lost her sibling to a world full of darkness. She warned Harry, not because she suddenly loved him, but because of a family protection instinct. Something that still remained, though suppressed for years. This showed that despite denying the wizarding world, Petunia had never truly escaped it. And deep down, she still cared. This detail transformed Petunia from a one-dimensional villain into a gray character. She was simultaneously jealous, fearful, and harbored hidden affection. Her emotions were so conflicted that even she didn't want to acknowledge them. This is the tragedy of wounded people. They don't know how to love, but can't be completely indifferent either. 6. Petunia. The face of abandonment, Petunia Dursley wasn't a villain in the traditional sense of wanting to dominate or destroy anyone. Her evil was more subtle. It didn't come from ambition, but from a wound of abandonment that was never healed. Petunia couldn't forgive the wizarding world because it had chosen Lily and abandoned her. Harry, though innocent, was still a symbol of that choice. The more she cared for him, the more she was reminded that she wasn't special enough to be invited to hop. Jealousy, if not faced and healed, becomes hatred. It makes us punish others for what they have, instead of finding our own path. Petunia's tragedy was that she never recognized her own worth beyond comparison to Lily. Perhaps, in another world, Petunia would have embraced Harry when he received his Hogwarts letter, would have told him about Lily with pride, not bitterness. But in this world, she chose to close that door and lived her entire life in the darkness she built around herself. Magic isn't about wands or spells. True magic is the ability to forgive yourself. Leave a comment, and do you end. Forget to subscribe to Fictional Depths so we can continue decoding characters who seem familiar, but turn out to be very unfamiliar.